Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Sunrose by developer Ori. I figured this made a lot of sense as the first game of the new year because with the new year comes the dawning of a new day. With the dawning of a new day comes the dawning of a new sun. And in this case, this game is entirely centered around the generation of infinite procedurally made suns. I know that sounds like a very strange thing, and honestly, it is one of those games that defies genre expectations. I can't really classify this in any particular way, and I think it also falls into more like a musical sandbox play toy type of thing than a game experience. But, you know, I have plenty of room for that, and, you know, what better way to bring in the new year than to emphasize one of those types of experiences? That's kind of what I'm all about. So, what we're going to be doing in Sunrose is we can type in 7-letter phrases that will then be used as a seed to generate a sun that we can then play with and watch the musical things happen as we kind of toy it back and forth. And, well, you'll see. Why don't I just enter a phrase? And probably the first phrase that's on many of your minds, considering lately the only thing we seem to associate with seeded runs is R-E-B-I-R-T-H. Let's generate it. What a lovely transition. This whole game, this whole experience is incredibly well produced. The whole thing feels super polished and smooth and really just fascinating. It's a shame that there's not more to do in this, unfortunately. I feel like I'm at a bit of a loss in that. I mean, I like playing with these, I like looking at the atmosphere, and I'm just like, I'm drawn into each one of these scenes. I think probably the most gameplay that you could get out of this is actually, you can grab, using your cursor, you can grab the suns, you can drag them, and it'll make each one of those bumps go off whenever it passes the center of the screen. So you can make sort of an endless little bit of soundtrack out of that. Now, what I was hoping would happen here, and maybe, I don't know if this is still in development or maybe there'll be future iterations, but what I thought would be really cool is if you could take each one of these planets that you've generated, and by the way, we can just hit spacebar at any time and just generate a new one on the fly, but to then be able to take whatever sound is playing at whatever tempo it's playing and just drop it into a constellation behind your planet, and have them, as you can see in the background, all these planets are sort of pinging every now and then. You'll see a little light will go off on them, sort of like a little strobe. And I was thinking if those happen to hit whenever this planet that you put in your constellation was then signified, like, as, you know, one of this group, it could actually create, like, a bigger and more grandiose procedural generated soundtrack, which is kind of what I'm all about, right? So there's that. That's one thing that I was kind of thinking would be fun. And then there's the other element that is actually something we can sort of toy around with, and that's the exploratory and discovery element. And that on the each.io page is actually a list of seeds that have, like, question mark blank spaces in them and all do special things. So, for example, you can type in credits into this, and it'll display the credits. You can type in Eclipse into this. It'll give you some special effect. I actually don't know what that does. Let's go back to the prior screen and see what that does, actually. I'm kind of curious. So, E-C-L-I-P-S-E, and then it'll pull that together. Oh, okay, well, that's kind of exactly what I expected. And it does it in a classy way, too. It gives you a procedural seed, but with that effect stacked over top of it, sort of like the basement seed in Isaac or something like that. You can also type in numbers. That's another one we know exists. You can tell, too, the background has a variable amount of stars and a different pad to the background sound effects and everything, too. So there's, like, a bunch of things going on. I do kind of wish, though, that we didn't have to go back to the main menu to enter a new seed. It would be nice if we could just hit return or something, and it would just, like, bring up the characters to be able to, you know, take us through. But I do like the transition and the way it all snaps together like that. It feels very, very classy, and that's what this game tends to ooze, in my opinion. It's all very, very classy. The color gradients that happen from the sun to the background, the chips that are picked, like the colored chips, are very, very refined. They show a really good sensitivity to color and balance like that, and I kind of wish there was just more to see, but I love this so much anyway. Or if you could just set it to go into like a sleep mode where it'll just sort of jump through a series of planets, maybe every minute or so it'll make a new random seed. I don't even know, maybe there's a possibility that could even happen. Maybe that's already one of the various 7-character strings that we can enter and is just not found yet. I would like to kind of impart that upon you guys. If you want to help find out all of the various seeds that are available, please do explore, and if you find anything, be sure to tweet at Tori to then get your name recognized on this sort of leaderboard thing here. One that I'm really, really fond of is the rainbow seed, in that it will actually generate sort of like a Christmas tree series of lights that'll just sort of keep strobing through various color patterns. BOW. That's so cool how the letters snap together like that. And also the cursor is really cool too. I love watching this, and it's like this one little pixel that just follows your trail. And the further and faster you move your mouse, the longer the trail ends up being. You can make all this kind of like laser art in the sky too. So it's got an interactive element in that respect, as well as, of course, the fact that you can drag this. The rainbow does actually strobe and change based on the speed that this is moving. So if I put this really, really fast, obviously you get quite a strobing effect, and if you go very slow, a lot less so of the fact. And I really like this. In general, this is like the prettiest thing that I've seen in a long time. I would like it if you could just have, again, like have the planets sort of come together and have their own randomization on a schedule, and then also be able to turn it off, on and off the rainbows too. Also, do the stars in the background? Yeah, I think they're actually also rainbow generated as well. It starts to look a little bit like confetti in the sky with all this stuff popping. So what else is there? There's silence for quiet sunroses. I guess we should check that out. It might be sunroses with no peaks on them, which I've actually had one generate by accident. Oh, I like that too. When you type in each one of the characters, it has a little bit of its own little pattern going on. Yeah, that is what it is. So you just get just the pad of the background. We can spin this as fast as we want. It's not going to do anything. Really pretty colors there as well. There's Takori mode. I have no idea what that's going to do. Let's give that a try as well. And then after that, we've only got one left. T-A-K-O... Oh, I put an R in there for some reason. I can't go back. Well, we're going to look at Track Ori real quick, and then we'll go back and check that again. Maybe I'll find a really cool one by accident. Oh, mysterious. I like that each one of the suns that you make is just kind of its own theme, in that, like, the color, the background, the pad that happens, and then, of course, the musical element of it. It can definitely make its own ambience just based on whatever it happens to align with. Alright, let's try that one more time. T-A-K-O-R-I-I. That's better. Oh, man. Whoa. That is a crazy effect. It's almost got like a stop-motion animation, but like a broken up JPEG kind of, or like not rendering properly video thing going on. Yeah, I can still interact with it too. It's just so jumpy. This is not the video breaking, by the way. This is actually the way this looks. Wow, I've never really seen an effect like this before. What if I spin this really fast? I can't imagine, too, looking at this with, like, the rainbow effect over top of it. Oh, that's messing with my head. That's very stroby in a strange way. Okay, one more thing we've got to do is check out VVV, VVV, V. One extra V. Now, it said that's, oh, inversion mode, so that actually just pops everything up to the top. I figured the colors would be inverted, but I didn't figure that the background and, you know, orientation of the y-axis would be inverted. I was thinking probably the background would be, like, blue and the sun would be red or something like that. Alright, let's just jump to another random one, see if we find anything else cool. Oh, it stays in inversion mode, okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. So if we did this in rainbow mode, we'd have the same effect going on. Oh, the cursor's actually inverted too. Oh, that's weird. So everything is mirrored. Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually. I don't know why I'm surprised by that. Anyway, I guess I've given you a bit of a good tour of Sunrose. It's a very cool experience. Like I said, there's a few things I kind of wish were a little bit different about it, but at the same time, I have to embrace the fact that it's absolutely stunning on its own. I can't really be upset about it. I just kind of, you know, going back to the title screen every time to type in a new seed seems silly to me. There's not really a reason to have to add that extra step, but the transitions are so nice and classy that, you know, who could really be upset about that? And I'm just imagining this playing on, like, a giant screen in the dark, just like a beacon of light off in the distance or something like that. It would be so mysterious and cool. And I'm thinking, like, what you could do with all of the various musical elements of this as it layers upon itself. If you had that ability to let that happen, you could create some really wild experiences just based on these sounds pinging off of each other. and creating procedurally generated worlds and soundtracks and universes and all of that stuff. And, well, the potential seems massive to me. So I'd love to hear your opinions on this. If you have any discoveries that you've made in Sunrose, feel free to pop the seeds that you find down in the comments, as well as let me know what you think about this in general, or what you think could be done to make this into a better, more refined, or more interesting experience in your opinion. I do like to keep discussion going in the comments whenever possible, so please do chime in, let me know what you think. And of course, that helps discussion keep the series going as well. If you also leave a like on the video, I do appreciate that as well. You can also find the link for this, of course, if you'd like to go download this yourself, right in the description of this video. It is totally free, or I highly recommend that you do so. Please do support the developer by paying with name your own price. That's pretty much everything on itch.io, or literally everything on that is supported that way. So if you like the work that's shown here, please do send them a few dollars. It's really a nice thing to do in general, and supports creativity like this, which is really paramount in my eyes. This is the kind of thing that I'm after all the time, and anything we can do to encourage that kind of thing is, you know, what I'm all about. So thank you again for watching. As always, new episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. If you enjoyed the series, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It's a huge help. I really do appreciate the support. And of course, thanks everybody for watching. This is going to be the first game of 2015, but it won't be the last, so please do stick around. I'll see you all soon, and have a great night. Talk to you all later.